Hi everyone, it's Stephanie here and welcome back to another My Favorite Things YouTube video. Today we're going to be creating a card using products from the July card kit called All Smiles. So I have the All Smiles stamp set in my hand here and the Double the Smiles die-namics dies. There's actually two smile words. One is a scripty font like the one I have here, and then one is a more text-based font. And then I also have a die from the rectangle stacks dies, and I'm going to use this to create a mask for the center of my card. So I have a white card base. It's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and I'm going to be using the Plentiful Petals stamp set, which is also in the card kit, to create a fun flower border all the way around this mask that we've created. So I've taken that rectangle die and I've cut a mask out of masking paper, and I'm sticking that down into the center of my cardstock piece. And now I can easily do all of my stamping and stamp right over that mask and not worry about the stamped images going into the center area. That, however, did not work, and you're going to see a little bit later in the video what happened and what I did to fix it. But for right now, we're just going to go with it. We're going to do all of our stamping and we're going to create this fun, colorful border. So I'm using my MISTI stamping tool mainly because a lot of these flower images are solid, so I like the option of being able to double stamp the image if I don't get a perfectly clear impression the first time. And as you can see with a mask, sometimes you get that little bit of an edge, so I like to be able to double stamp it to make sure I get nice even ink coverage. So I'm just going to start by stamping a flower image first, and then I also stamp the center area, which is separate. And then I'm going to work my way around this rectangle, adding leaves and flowers from the stamp set. Now I use a lot of different ink colors. I use a bunch of corals and like oranges, reds, and greens, and aquas. So I will have all of the ink colors that I did use in this design in the video description below, just in case you want to be able to recreate the colors that I used. So as you can see, I jumped ahead a bit in the stamping. It's all the same process all the way around the rectangle, so I did kind of jump to the end to show you how I finished it off, just to save a little bit of time. And now I'm taking one of the little dot stamps in the stamp set and I'm adding little gray dots into all the open areas between the flowers. This is one of my favorite ways to kind of add filler to white space so that it really looks nice and full of stamping all the way around. Now I'm going to remove the mask and you're going to see what I mentioned before. Because I did do some double stamping on this mask and the mask was kind of thin, some of my ink bled through into the middle. So you can see now I have all of this inking in the middle portion of the card. So I kind of wrecked my plan to have a one-layer card where I would have the sentiment in the middle of all of that stamping, and I ended up having to do a little bit of cardstock layering. Not the end of the world. It's easily able to kind of fix, and it didn't really change how I would have stamped the card if I had planned to do this anyway, because I wouldn't have stamped in the center of the panel because we wouldn't see it anyway. So it's fine. It'll work out no problem. I just kind of had to change up the design that I wanted to do a little bit. So since the plan changed and I couldn't leave the card one layer, I decided to add a gray panel underneath my white piece just to kind of make it stand out a little bit more from the flower design. And then I die cut the word smile from some steel gray cardstock. I like to use gray cardstock when I want to have a dark sentiment, but I don't want it to be really super black. Gray is a great way to add a really bold sentiment, but keep it kind of soft still and not overpower the card. So I die cut the word, and then I also stamped the secondary sentiment there with some gray ink as well. So I have no black inking on this card at all. I really like the look of the darker gray color with the lighter gray that we added to the panel. So once I had the sentiment stamped there, I added the smile with some liquid glue, and I used my tweezers to kind of add it on there. I just find that my fingers kind of get in the way when I'm trying to position it and get everything lined up. So the tweezers really help to be able to position that a little bit more easily. Once I had the sentiment on there, I can go ahead now and add this panel to the center of my card. And now I have pretty much the design I wanted when I started. I just ended up with a cardstock layer in the middle rather than having it completely one layer. And I have to admit, I kind of liked that I was able to add the gray detail around the outside edge. So I think at the end I liked that I ended up doing it this way anyway. So I really hope you enjoyed today's card. I hope you will give some mask layering a try. Hopefully it will work out a little bit better for you. I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.